Shalom, shalom. This is the brother Daniela coming back again with another lesson. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Bashem, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the whole elect brothers of Great Millstone. And as you can hear, I just woke up not too long ago, and I was scrolling through my IG, my social media, and I subscribed or I'm following RT News, okay, on Instagram, which is very helpful. You come across different news articles and shorts as you're scrolling, and we came across this, concerning Syria. So, and this really reminds you of the scripture. America is really the bully of the entire earth, man. The hammer of the entire earth. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll get some precepts.
And the Western media has been calling it undemocratic because, as you know, any election that the CIA doesn't control is undemocratic, right? The media talks about sham elections, but they can't even expand or elaborate what that even means. They just bring on a bunch of bitter exiles and opposition figures. How can you talk about the elections in Syria and not mention the fact that most Syrians actually support Bashar al-Assad, that he won in a landslide victory with 76% turnout? Some people think you can only say these things when you are a big fan of Assad. The concept of Syrian sovereignty, of respecting the will of the Syrians, does not even enter their brains. You had Syrians out celebrating in droves all over Syria. You don't think that's something you might want to mention? No, you don't think that's relevant to the topic? The media talks about Syrians suffering and living in poverty. Yeah, and why are they in poverty? Because Syria is under crippling sanctions imposed by the United States and the European Union. People are suffering because the West has been trying to destroy Syria for a decade. There were no bread lines in Syria before the war. You didn't have to wait 48 hours up to 2 days just to get fuel. That's a direct result of Western intervention and the West trying to topple the Syrian government. Syrians have just re-elected already. Yeah.
So that, as you can see, he points out that America and the European Union, alright, they basically they interfere in Syria's economy, man. Okay, they sanction people, whether not doing trade with them and crippling their economy, and enforcing poverty on the people. Right? This is how this devil gets down.
And why are they in poverty? Because Syria is under crippling sanctions imposed by the United States and the European Union. People are suffering because the West has been trying to destroy Syria for a decade. There were no bread lines in Syria before the war. You didn't have to wait 48 hours up to 2 days just to get fuel. That's a direct result of Western intervention and the West trying to topple the Syrian government. They say that only people in government-controlled areas are allowed to vote, as if the government is purposely excluding people from voting. Why don't you go ask Al-Qaeda why they don't have polling stations in Idlib? Yeah, why don't you go ask the Americans who are stealing the oil in northeastern Syria why there are no polling stations? Why don't you ask Canada, France, and Germany why they blocked Syrian citizens from going to vote in the Syrian embassy? All these Western countries were saying even before the election happened that they reject the results. First of all, this is not your country for you to reject the results. What do you think Syria is, a colony? Second of all, this shows that they do not care at all about what Syrians actually want. They talk about democracy, and then they deny Syrians the right to vote and participate in their own elections. Don't come here and talk to me about democracy. We saw the so-called democracy that America and Britain brought to Iraq. We saw the democracy that NATO brought to Libya and Afghanistan. We know what these people are. They are imperialists and colonizers. They continue to attack the Middle East, but occupy it under a different slogan or a different banner. The West doesn't even have democracy itself. How can you talk about democracy when you disenfranchise voters in the US? when the UK bans people from protesting and infiltrates activists with undercover police, when they jail journalists like Julian Assange. This is preposterous. Just look at how many countries they have destroyed and decimated. Look how many right-wing governments and bloody coups they have pulled in the Middle East and Africa and Latin America. Who are you to talk about democracy? Even after 10 years, all you hear is the same nonsense repackaged over and over. Oh, Assad used chemical weapons. They can't even say Syrian government or Syrian army. They have to say Assad regime or Syrian regime forces. Really? They had no problem with Bashar al-Assad 20 years ago when he was meeting with Tony Blair and the Queen of England and Nancy Pelosi. The West is so desperate to get rid of him, they're still peddling this lie about the Duma gas attack, which never took place. The scientists themselves from the OPCW went to Duma and found nothing, and their reports were doctored. Go read the emails on WikiLeaks, how they omitted the toxicology reports, how the so-called gas canister was manually placed there. How can anyone believe what Britain and America say about weapons of mass destruction after Iraq anyway? This is a massive propaganda effort to sell a war on Syria. The mainstream corporate media serves as the PR department of the national security state and the military-industrial complex. They want to convince you that right-wing jihadists are freedom fighters and that counter-terror...
All right, I'm going to just play that much, if you want to check it out. It's called what? Syrian people have said no to Western imperialism. Richard Madhurst from RT. All right, now let's get some precepts, man. He said a lot, man. But really, what's he doing, man? He is calling this devil out. All right, this beast out, this beast system, okay, of of the wicked. He's calling them out, man, on their bullshit and all the different things that they do, and to calling them out on the hypocrisy. Democracy is a lie, man. Okay, they come under the guise of democracy, but that's speaking sweetly. Okay, but war is in his heart. He's out to destroy, man. Now this right here is this scripture in effect right here, right? It's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse real quick, chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him. Who is that? That's Esau Edom, man. He's puffed up, he's proud, okay, exalted within himself, but he's not right in the brain, man. His spirit ain't right. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, his democracy, right? His different philosophies, okay, beliefs about how a person should move through life, okay? His philosophy, his wine, man, especially democracy, man. It says he is a proud man. There you go. He's proud. These devils are proud. Neither keepeth at home. And you heard what this reporter was, saying about all the different places that America and the European Union go, okay? And then, they put their puppet leaders there in Africa, in different parts of the Middle East, all right? And they got their embassies and bases all throughout the world. So these devils don't keep at home, all right? And, from all the way back then, they're not in Basra anymore, man. They branched out from there. They're living in every other place, man. It says neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. Right? Hell, which represents what? The grave, Sha'awal, right? The grave, death. All right? You know, a grave is a symbol of death, right? You put a dead body in a grave. It says his desire is as hell and he is as death, right? But gathereth and cannot be satisfied, man. Sure, this devil cannot be satisfied. He says, and gathereth unto him all nations, right? This is America, right? Babylon the Great. And heapeth unto him all people. Right? Now this is where it's at. Here's the point, man. Cause what? These nations are starting to take up parable against this devil, man. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? Right? Who are those these? The nations, man, the heathens. And a taunting proverb against him, taunting proverb, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his, right? Stealing the resources, as you heard, he's, stealing different resources from the Syrians, man. And other nations, man. Woe means destruction. Destruction unto him, okay, that increases that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, right? That debt. Okay. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? These other nations is gonna get back at this hoe, man. It says what in the nations were angry with her, man. You know, you know, and burnt her with fire. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, there you go. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and the city, and of all that dwell therein. Right, there you go. Woe unto him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, all right, that he may deliver from the power of evil, right? You got these different, satellites that can house people, man. Different outer space hotels, if you will, man. Okay. Right. So this is what these nations are saying, man. Okay. All right. These nations is really about to get geared up, all right, and being roused up by the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to bring on that nuclear destruction, okay, that World War III, right? And he talks about what the media, how they use the media, and they just fabricate. They fabricate lies about different things that's going on to push forth their agenda and to get everybody on board, okay, with what this devil is saying, man. That's another precept. Let's get it. We're going to go to Revelations chapter 12. And let's see where we're going to start at. Right. So, yeah, let's start at 7. Revelation 12 and 7. 7. And there was war in heaven. Now, what is that talking about? When it says war in heaven, you got to understand this. There are 3 heavens, man. There are 3 heavens. All right. This is not talking about the spiritual realm. All right. The dragon does not represent, okay, of an actual dragon or Satan. Okay. It represents what? The system of power of Esau. All right. this is what the dragon is known as, right? Okay. It says there was war in heaven. All right, that would be what? The first and the second heaven. Okay, in the outer and upper atmosphere of the earth. Okay, under the firmament. All right, and then all right, around the earth, man. This devil has what, his space force. So of course they're gonna do what? That's a part of that war in heaven too. Okay, the second heaven, which is out there in outer space, man. Not in the spiritual realm. There's no war in the spiritual realm because what? The scripture said, when the prayer that Yahweh Shai told us to pray is what, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The will of the Most High in heaven, there's complete order, man. Okay? They try to use this to say that, oh yeah, well, Satan fought against the Most High. Well, and then this is end time prophecy. Okay? This is end time prophecy. So if this is end time prophecy, that war in heaven would have to be somewhere in the beginning, right? In Genesis, according to your theory, right? To your deluded doctrine, right? But that's neither here nor there. Okay, that war in heaven is talking about the chariots, all right, the so-called UFOs, the AUPs, sorry, UAPs, okay, fighting the fighter jets, okay, in air vehicles, okay, of this devil and his army. All right. It says that there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. And the dragon fought and his angels. Right? So that's talking about the military. Okay, the military of the Most High. All right. And the military of this devil. Okay. All right. And also, hey, the other nations too. It says, and prevailed not. So they didn't prevail. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven. They got blasted out of the sky, blasted out of space. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. Okay, because who runs the system of power, man? Esau, Edom. It says that old serpent. All right, that sly devil, man. Okay, that treacherous man called the devil, that liar, and Satan, which means adversary, opposer, man. He is against the Most High. It says, which deceiveth the whole world. Okay, he's deceived everybody through what? His media. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Right? So the downfall of this devil, man. And then soon, right. Ooh. Yeah, it says it's cast out with him. Let's check this out right here. Real quick, let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. It says, which just comes down to Esau being cast down into a low estate, man. Right. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Now, this is not, once again, this is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. The spiritual demon Satan, he does what the Most High tells him to do. He is a servant of the Most High on the left hand. All right. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Which Lucifer means the light bearer. Okay. Now these elites, these devils, are enlightened, okay, on the left hand side. What's the scripture says? It says, which we know light represents wisdom, okay. That's how you have the term the Illuminati, okay. They're enlightened on the left hand side. The scripture says what? Thou art wiser than Daniel, and there is no secret that can be hid from thee, right? All right. It also talks about what? Establishing a diligent search. This devil knows. This devil knows some shit, man. Okay, but to what purpose? For the purpose of destruction. All right, and wickedness. Okay, as he was designed. Right. It says, "Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground?" Now this is metaphorical, man. Talking about this devil. It's okay, fallen from heaven, meaning what? From his state of bliss, okay, which fallen from rulership, man. Okay, heaven represents rulership, having rulership on the earth, man. Okay, if you got rulership, you got all the resources, you got all the goods, man. All right, you got the riches. You can live in a state of pleasure. Okay, this man has the fatness of the earth as we speak. All right, and he has the rulership, man. It says, "How art thou cut down to the ground?" Right? Because this devil's gonna go into a little. He's gonna go into chains, man. He's gonna be in slavery, man. And this is which this is what's gonna happen to this devil, Salakia, which did its weaken the nations, man, taking their resources, killing their people, putting his puppet leaders in there, you know, lying about the different things about going on in the nation so they can push forth the agenda. They are weakening the nations, man, and they're wearing out the saints, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, in thy mind, right? I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which are the Israelites. All right. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Ooh, shouldn't have said that. Because now the Lord is about to prove you wrong. You are about to be reproved. Okay? The Lord is setting forth his elect of his nation right before your eyes. He's setting them in order right before your eyes. Okay? All right? You saying you're going to be the Most High? Blaspheming the Most High? The Lord's about to put a foot up your rectum, okay? In a major way, man. That's for you devils out here, man. You elites. It says, I will ascend above the height. I read that. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, man. That low condition, man. You about to see a complete 360-degree turnaround for this devil, man. No more power for him. It says, they're going to sit on the ground. No more throne, right? It says, to the sides of the pit. And they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? That did shake kingdoms? That's going to be the sentiment, man. Especially from these other nations, man. Isn't this that man that had us all messed up, man? Isn't this that dude who's just wreaking havoc? That did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie and glory everyone in his own house, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain. Ooh, this devil's gonna be through, man. Thrust through with the sword, and that go down to the stones of the pit, as the carcass trodden under the foot. Right? So this devil's gonna be brought down to a lower state, man. So all the different things he's doing, and really, you know, this is all for the controversy of Zion. He's really gonna be punished for all the things he did against the nation of Israel. Same thing with the other nations. But the other nations, after they serve their punishment, they're gonna get a fair shake. Yeah, they're gonna get to go back to their lands of inheritance, man. They're just gonna be subject unto our laws, man. But this devil, oh no, this devil he has to go. Thus saith the Lord in the book of Obadiah. His nation has to be wiped out, and it will be according to the will of the Most High. So I just thought I would get that, man. That news report. You see the scripture really exemplified, okay, in this news report. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom.